Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Inshallah, carrying on with our lesson with regards to the 99 names of Allah Azza wa Jal. Today we're going to take two more names, the name Al-Razzaq and the name Al-Razzaq. Now, these two names are mentioned in the Quran. The name Al-Razzaq is mentioned in the Quran many times. Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentioned that Inna Allah huwa al-Razzaq dhul quwwati al-mateen, Surah Al-Dhariyat, and many other places as well. The name Al-Raziq, it comes in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. The hadith is in Sunnah Tirmidhi, in which the Prophet ﷺ, he referred to Allah Azza wa Jal as Al-Raziq. He said, Inna Allah huwa al-musa'ir al-qabid al-basit al-Raziq. And he mentioned that name Al-Raziq there. What do these two names mean? They come from, and remember we've mentioned this every time, every lesson, that Allah Azza wa Jal's names are not names like ours, where one of us may have a name, but that name, we're not named after the meaning, we're not really named after the characteristic within that name. We are just given that name. Like you might find a person, his name's Abdullah, he's called Abdullah, and Abdullah means the slave of Allah. Like he doesn't live by that name. You don't see him enslaving himself to Allah. You don't see him worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. Does that make sense? You might find a person's name is Ahmed. Ahmed means I praise. I praise, right? But he doesn't praise Allah. He calls himself Ahmed like he doesn't praise Allah. So his name is just a name because maybe it sounds good or it sounds nice or it's named after someone who is like that. Like Allah's names are not like that. Allah's names have meaning. Does that make sense? So Allah's name here, Al-Raziq and Al-Razzaq, they are two names that come from a characteristic, and that is the one who gives rizq. That is the one who provides rizq. Now, what is rizq? Rizq is provision. Rizq is not just money. Rizq is broader than money. Rizq is money. Rizq is food. Rizq is even the rain that comes down from the sky. Rizq is your wife. Rizq is a husband for the sisters, not the brothers. Rizq is children that Allah Azza wa Jal might give you. These are all things that Allah He provides for you. Provision. That's why provision is a better translation for the term rizq. Provision, things that you are provided with, things that you're given so you can do what you need to do in terms of your day-to-day activities. And when Allah said that His name is Al-Razzaq and His name is Al-Razzaq, as the Prophet mentioned, is showing you and highlighting and indicating that He is the one who provides. He is the one who gives to you. We call ourselves breadwinners, or we win the bread for the house. We go out and we provide for our families. No, we do not provide for anyone. Allah is the one who provides for us. Now, if these two names come from the same characteristic, which is to be one who provides rizq, like what's the difference between the two? And we mentioned before that when you look at the words in the Arabic language, some of them have a certain pattern, okay? And the pattern indicates a particular meaning. And there is a rule that whenever, let me not go into the rule. The point is that there is a pattern, okay? So, Al-Raziq follows the pattern of a fa'il. Fa'il means the one who does. For example, when you say qatl, which means to kill, qatil is who? The one who killed. When you say hifz, which is to memorize, like in hafiz is what? The one who memorizes. Does that make sense? When you say, for example here, rizq is provision. Al-Raziq is the one who gives the provision. Does that make sense? So when the name of Allah Azza wa Jalla comes on this pattern, Al-Raziq, fa'il, then it's showing you that Allah is the one who does this, meaning Allah He provides, Allah He gives, Allah He sustains, and He's the only one who does that. No one else. No one else provides for anyone other than Him. Now what's the difference between that and Al-Razzaq? Al-Razzaq is mubalagha. It comes on the pattern of fa'al. Razzaaq, fa'al. Remember, like we said, for example, Allah's name is Al-Khaliq and there is Al-Khallaq. Al-Khaliq is the one who creates. Like Al-Khallaq means the one who is the supreme creator, has been creating, eternally creating, always was creating, will be creating. Does that make sense? So Al-Raziq is that He's the only provider, He's the only sustainer, He's the only one who gives you what you need and He gives for everyone. Like Al-Razzaq is the one who's doing it all the time. He's always giving, He's always providing. He's the supreme provider. There is no one else that provides other than Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that make sense? So Al-Razzaq shows you He's always providing, and He's providing for everyone and everything. every ant, every bee, every tree, everything Allah Azza wa Jalla provides for. Does that make sense? Good. I want to mention to you a statement that Shaykh Al-Razzaq al-Badr, rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned when he came to explaining this name of Allah, Al-Raziq, Al-Razzaq. He said, He is the one, Allah, who is responsible. He has made Himself responsible for providing for His servants. And He is the one who sustains every single soul, for its daily provision. And when you open the fridge and you have food in the fridge that day, Allah gave that to you. When you wake up in the morning and you go to use the washroom and you clean yourself with the water that ran from the tap, Allah He gave that to you. That toothbrush that you use, that toothpaste, all of this is from Allah. Everything that you need for your day-to-day life, Allah is providing for you. When you go and you sit inside your car, you notice the petrol is low, you go to the petrol station, the money that you have, Allah provided it for you. The oil, the fuel that you put inside of your tank, Allah He provided that for you by placing it onto the earth. Everything and anything that we have on our day-to-day basis and needs, Allah Azza wa Jal, He is the one who provides. Does that make sense? Now I want to mention some points to you with regards to how Allah describes Himself and His relationship with His slaves when it comes to provision. The first thing, which I've already alluded to, is that Allah provides for everyone. No one provides for themselves. Allah said, وَمَا مِن دَابَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said there's not a single, Allah didn't say creature, Allah didn't say human, Allah didn't say animal, Allah said daba. There's not a single creature on the earth except Allah Azza wa Jal provides rizq for it. So even the ant which is inside of the burrow, the fish which is inside of the sea, even the bacteria that you find, Allah provides for all of it. Any and every living organism, Allah Azza wa Jal said He takes it upon Himself to provide for them. Yes. The ayah is in Surah Hud, ayah number 6. Allah Azza wa Jal goes on to tell us that not only does He provide for everyone, but no one has the ability to provide for themselves even if they wanted to. Even if Allah told you, go out there and provide for yourself. You can't, Allah Azza wa Jal. وَكَأَيٍّ مِّن دَابَةٍ لَا تَحْمِلُ رِزْقُهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and how many creatures are there that they do not own their own provision. They can't get their own provision. Allahu yarzuquha wa iyyakum. And Allah is the one who gives rizq to that creature, and Allah gives it to you as well. Wa huwa as-sami'ul alim. And He is the one who's all hearing and He is all knowledgeable. Not only that, Allah Azza wa Jalla mentions that when Allah gives, He doesn't give in a stingy way. He doesn't give in a restricted way. Allah gives and He doesn't count. He doesn't start counting, how much have I given? Okay, I've given too much, let me stop and let me not give them. Allah gives without account. And not only does He give without account, no one can hold Allah to account for how much He gives. Like you go buy at the end of the day, what do? You have a bill. Hey, you got all these things. There's none of that for Allah. He just gives and He gives. Allah said, إِنَّ رَبِّكَ يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ. Allah Azza wa Jalla, وَاللَّهُ يَرْزُقُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Allah said, Allah, He gives rizq to whoever He wills without holding to any account. Without hisab. No counting. No one questions Allah. He just gives and gives and gives. Wallahi, when you start hearing these things, brothers, you just start thinking to yourself, subhanallah, Allah, He gives with no limit. Allah, how generous He is. How can you ask anyone else besides Him? How can you beg? How can you beg someone? How can it be that when you're in a situation where you need money, the first thing you do is that you might pick up the phone and ask someone, you don't raise your hands and say, Allah, facilitate this for me. How come is it that you're so, there was a brother that I used to know, wallahi, honestly, I was so scared for him. He was looking for a job and he was relying upon humans so much that he genuinely, like it was, I'm not saying he fell into shirk or anything like that, but like I feared shirk for him. The way he believed that these brothers that he worked for were going to provide for him, and when they didn't give him the job and he started crying and he was panicking, oh my God, how am I going to live? And I was like, bro, take it easy, man. Allah is the one who provides. And some people are like that they just don't believe. They don't have that confidence in Allah. They don't have that thiqah billahi azza wa jal, that He is the one who will provide and facilitate for them. Like in Allah Azza wa Jal told you, I will not only give, but I'll give everything, and I'll give as much, and I won't hold to account. And you know why this is powerful? Because a few lessons ago we learned the name of Allah, Al-Malik. Al-Malik, the King. The King, He does what? He owns everything. And is there a limit to his kingdom? You can't limit his kingdom. So he owns everything, and what he owns is limitless. And not only that, from what he owns, which is everything, and you can't put a limit on what he owns, he gives, and his giving is also not something you can put a limit on. How generous of a Lord is that you have waiting for? That he is one who owns. Deep that for a second. He owns everything, and you can't put a limit on what he owns. It's his. He's not stingy, he gives from what he owns. But he's got a lot that he owns, right? So how much is he going to give? He's going to give the same way what he owns. There's no limit. He gives and he doesn't place a limit. That's why when you hear this, it should make you want to make dua. The Prophet said Allah Azza wa Jalla is one who is Hayyun Kareem. He's shy and he's generous. When a slave raises his hands to make dua, that when he asks for something, look, you're begging, right? Allah, give me please. Allah is too shy and generous to let your hand drop to your side empty-handed. But the issue is we don't ask. Pay attention. Allah is one who He opens the rizq for some people. But for some people, Allah, He tightens it. He limits it for some people. Even though He gives and gives without placing a limit. But for some specific people, for a specific wisdom, a hikmah which is baligha, a specific, beautiful wisdom, Allah, He says, no, but this person I'm not going to give him much. Allah said, إِنَّ رَبِّكَ يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ بِعِبَادِهِ خَبِيرًا بَصِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Allah Azza wa Jal, your Lord, for some, He opens the rizq for them. He makes it big. He gives them a lot. Got children. He's got one wife, maybe 2, 3, 4. Never know. He's got big rizq. He's got houses, he's got cars, he's got food, right? And then for some, Allah Azza wa Jal, He doesn't. He doesn't. Why? Because some people benefit from a lot of wealth. And some people don't benefit from a lot of wealth. Some people, you give them a lot of money, they'll go to a brothel, they'll go clubbing, partying, drinking. They'll take that money, they'll do haram with it. It'll make them arrogant. They'll do israf, they'll overspend, they'll waste it. And so much evil will come as a result of it. So Allah, from His hikmah, He knows this person is better being what? Being limited. Some people, Allah knows, I give him rizq. He's going to earn Jannah through this. He's going to give sadaqah. He's going to treat his family members well. Not only that, he's going to be grateful to me. He's going to thank me. He's going to do shukr to me. So Allah opens the rizq for him. Allah knows what's best for you. Does that make sense? Like even the one who Allah limited his rizq, even him, Allah, He gave him more than he needed. Even the one, when Allah limited his rizq, Allah gave him more than he needed. What's the dalil for this? The Prophet said that whoever wakes up in the morning, okay, and he is amin, he's safe. He wakes up safe in the morning. And he has his qut, his daily provision for that day. Okay? As another thing the hadith mentioned, 3 things. He wakes up in the morning safe. He wakes up in the morning, his daily provisions there. One more thing. Something that we all have. Shelter, barakallahu feek. That he wakes up in the morning and he has shelter and he's safe and he has his daily provision. The Prophet said, this is as if the earth, the world has been taken and placed under his feet. As if the earth, the whole world has been taken and placed under his feet. So Allah Azza wa Jal gave us all luxury. The people that wake up in the world, they don't wake up safe. They wake up, any minute a bomb could fall on their head. They wake up in the morning, they don't have a house. Some are living what? On the streets. And some people don't have their daily provision. They don't have their qutul yawm. They don't have their food for the day. They don't have breakfast in the fridge. They don't have dinner in the fridge. They don't have lunch in the fridge. They don't have that stuff. Does that make sense? Like if Allah gave that to you, Allah's trying to tell you this is a luxury. Basic needs is shelter, food, and clothing to cover your nakedness, as the Prophet ﷺ said in another narration. That's your basic. Like Allah gave you more. You open the wardrobe and you got like 10, 20 thobes. You got 4 or 5 pair of shoes. You got all these things. You got all these things. Does that make sense? You got all these things, so Allah gave you more. So Allah gave you luxury. So even when He withheld it from you, when He tightened it for you, He made you one who is like a king. Wallahi, some of the Sahaba, if they were to come to you and see that you had running tap water in the winter, it's freezing cold. The water should be cold, but it comes out hot. And the summer is boiling hot, but the water comes out cool. They think you are living like kings. But how grateful are we? We're not very grateful. And that's why maybe we find that we're not able to enjoy these blessings. And the blessings are not able to be increased. Because we're very ungrateful people. We're like kings. William Shakespeare didn't live in as much, not William Shakespeare, sorry, Henry VIII didn't live in as much luxury as we do. Henry VIII didn't live in the kind of luxury that we lived in. You know, Queen Elizabeth used to only have a bath once a month. And she was a queen. She couldn't just have a bath. You know what I'm saying? Mad unhygienic. Anyway, the point of the matter is that be grateful. Even the one who Allah He limited, He gave him a lot. Some people tell me, I'm on a minimum wage. I don't make much money. I want more. I want that big stuff. I said, Akhi, how can you expect Allah to give you more? You're not even grateful for the little that you've already received. First, show gratitude for the £7.20 an hour. Then Allah promised, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you're grateful, I will increase you. Like we don't show gratitude. So because Allah knows this person's going to go and run wild with the money, but the rizq, Allah He limits it for that person. Like the one Allah knows He's going to do good with the funds, with the money, with the rizq, Allah He opens it for them. So be one, if you want more money, you have to pattern up. And Allah will provide. Questions to the end if that's possible, just because we've got a lot to go through. Generally speaking, there are 2 reasons why Allah Azza wa Jalla reminds us. 2 reasons why Allah tells us about the favours that He's done upon us with regards to rizq. The first favour is so that we can get to know Him, how generous He is, how merciful He is, how giving He is. So we get to know Allah. That's the first reason from the 2 why Allah He tells us that I give you. The second reason why Allah Azza wa Jalla informs us in the Quran why He gives us is why? To then say to us, because I give you, obey me. Because I give you, worship me. Because I give you, do as I say. Does that make sense? Like even it's common. Like if you find that in your house, your mum and dad don't kind of take you seriously, your sisters kind of disrespect you, your brothers disrespect you, you're kind of a joke man in the house. What's one of the best ways to pattern up in the house? You start providing in the house with Allah's permission, with the tawfiq of Allah. Start providing, start paying bills. When you start paying bills in the house, and you start giving your older brother pocket money, and you take your older brother out to buy him a pair of shoes, suddenly what happens? He starts tightening up. He starts fixing up. Or your younger brother, they'll start listening to you. Because what? هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. Is there any reward for good other than good? Now people generally see, and even the kuffar, they call it the law of reciprocation. If you do good to me, I'm going to do good back to you. If you're kind to me, I'm going to be kind to you. That's the way it is. So Allah is saying, look, these are the 2 reasons why I'm telling you why I give you, and the things that I've done for you, and the women I've given you, and the children I've given you, and the food that I've given you, and the house I've given you. Allah said, I'm telling you this. Why? So number 1, you can know me. I am generous. I give. That's who I am. I am Al-Razzaq. The second reason is so you can know, because I did this, obey me. How are you disobeying me, disrespecting me, doing shirk, not praying, in my earth that I gave to you? You eat from my food that I provided for you, and then you're going to not pray? And then you're going to disobey me? No, Allah said, this is my earth, you eat from my food, so you behave. And these are the 2 reasons why. Let's look at both. The first one, which is Allah mentioning to us the favours that He done for us, so that we can get to know how lovely, how merciful, how giving Allah is. Allah said, وَاللَّهُ جَعْلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا وَجَعْلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ بَنِينَ. Allah Azza wa Jalla said that He is the one who gave to you from yourselves wives. So now your wife. Who's married here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. problem now in society. It's a problem. You don't need to get married. You need to fix up. You need to fix up, brothers. You know, some of the Sahaba, if they will see a man your age and he's not married, or some of the Salaf, they will say either he likes men or he's doing haram. I'm not saying you do haram. Inshallah you don't like men. I know there's external circumstances that make it even harder for you guys in this day and age. But generally speaking, they would look at a man who doesn't have wife, they would say, what's going on, my bro? You like women, right? You have to fix up, brothers, and find yourself a wife very quickly. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who provided for you. Does that make sense? So maybe you start asking. So I'll say, وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ بَنِينَ وَحَفَدَةً وَرَزَقَكُم مِّنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who gave you wives, He gave you children, and He gave you grandchildren. And then He provided you from the pure things. Allah is the one who gives these things to you. So, remember that. If you've got a wife, be grateful. Allah, He provided her for you. You have a child, Allah, He gave that child to you. You have grandchildren, Allah gave them to you. And of course, your parents, it goes the other, Allah gave them to you. All your family, Allah gave them to you. Your friends, Allah gave them to you. And at-tayyibat, anything good that you have, the clothes that you have, the food, all this is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Not just that Allah, one of His favors and provisions for us was that He provided us and He made us the most honored creation. Or from the most honored creation. Allah said, وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. Allah Azza wa Jal said, we honored the children of Adam. He honored us. Look, He gave us a brain. He gave us an aql. Okay? He gave us intellect. We're not like other animals. Other animals, they, like, you know, I have a cat, like you can play, you know, you can probably confuse cats. Sometimes, you know, when a cat goes a bit wild and is excited, like sometimes I take his tail and I put it in front. So he thinks that, his tail is like a little mouse or something, and he starts biting his own tail. And I think, you idiot. Like, you absolute idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, they don't have a mind. It's like your tail, scratches up on the tail. I'm like, relax, this is you, bro. This is you. Like, he's hurting himself, but he's doing it because he thinks it's a mouse. But Allah gives aql. Number two, Allah, look how He honored us. He gives clothing. That's one of the ways Allah honored the children of Adam. Animals are naked. Animals are not clothed. Allah, He gave you clothing. Animals are walking the streets naked. Like Allah gave you honor, gave you shyness. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Allah honored you. Does that make sense? And not just that. وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He allowed you to travel on the land and the sea. And now Allah allows you to travel in the sky. Like, think about it. A man can jump on a plane and go back home to his home country and then come back in the exact same day and still have time left over for dinner. Well, I've done it. I've gone to a country and come back the exact same day. I went to the Middle East and I came back within 24 hours. I went to Italy one time, I came back within 24 hours. I could do it the same day. Wallahi, these are not things that we should be grateful for. Some of the Salaf, the Sahaba, will have to travel 6-7 months just to go for Hajj. Like you and me, we can go to Hajj in a quarter of a day. 7 hours you could be in Mecca right now. In Jeddah, sorry. You could be 7 hours. These are favors that Allah Azza wa Jal, He's bestowed upon us, that we should be grateful for. Then Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَفَضِّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقَ تَفْضِيلًا. Allah Azza wa Jal, He preferred us over a lot of things that Allah Azza wa Jal has created. Does that make sense? Then Allah Azza wa Jal, He reminds us of these kind of things. The fact that He made the earth a place of comfort for us. Allahu alladhi ja'ala lakum al-arda qarara was-samaa'a banaa'a wa sawwarakum fa ahsana suwarakum wa razaqakum min at-tayyibat. Allah is the one, He made the earth what? He made it a dwelling place for you. Imagine the whole earth was rocky, the whole earth was mountainous. Allah made the earth mountainous in some places so that the mountains could work like pegs and keep the earth firm, and the rest of it He made it flat for you so you can build houses, so you can live. Imagine, just think about it for a second, brothers. Like, you can't live if the earth wasn't flattened for you. How would you build a house? What kind of house would you have? How would you build these structures, these buildings? You can't do any of that. Allah, He made the earth flat for you. When was the last time you said, Allah, thank you for giving us a flat earth to walk on? Imagine, forget building, how would you walk? To go from one place to another on a place that's a mountainous terrain. Like how long it would take you to get from home to work. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, what did He do? He made the sama for you, the sky. The sky, does it fall and it has no pillars? And rain comes down every time for you. These are things that we need to be grateful for. Allah, He provided. فَأَحْسَنَ صُوَرَكُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, and He gave you a shape. Gave you a good shape. The best of shapes. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. He made you look beautiful. As we said in the previous lesson. What did Allah say? لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. The best of shapes. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, وَرَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. And He provided for you. Again, gave you rizq from the things that are pure. These are the examples when Allah mentions that He provides for you from the angle of showing you who He is. Now the examples Allah mentions from the angle of telling you, because I gave this to you, obey me. Because I gave this to you, worship me alone. Because I gave this to you, do good. Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اعْبُدُوا رَبَّكُمُ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Allah said, O mankind. And nas includes the humans and the jinn. اعْبُدُوا رَبَّكُمْ. Allah said, worship your Lord. Enslave yourself to Him. And don't worship anyone else besides Him. Okay? Why? الَّذِي خَلَقَكُمْ. He created you. He made you. He owns you. He provided you with life. Not just you. وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. Those who came before you. Your mom, your dad, their parents, all their back. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So that you can have piety. And then after telling you to worship Him, Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَأَخْرَجَ بِهِ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ رِزْقًا لَكُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He told you, He is the one who He made the earth for you. And He made the sky for you. And He sent down rain from the sky. And He brought things out from the earth for you. Right? Fruits and everything. And then what did Allah say? فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah said, do not make equal partners with Allah. Don't worship anyone else besides Him. Don't let anyone else come equal to Allah. وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And you have knowledge. Knowledge of what? That He is the one who provides. He is the one who sustains. He is the one who gives life. He gave me all these things. Like after knowing Allah gave you all of this rizq, you go and you obey someone else. You go and you worship someone else. You love someone else more than you love Allah or equal to Allah. You choose a woman over Allah. What's that woman done for you? The woman's not going to do nothing for you. A woman what? Take a hijab off for a man. She put the hijab for Allah on Snapchat. She starts sending what pictures of herself with that hijab for another man so he can see her nakedness. What? Just because what? He gives a little love heart, a little comment. What's He done for you? Allah gave you what? Your surah, your image. Allah gave you what? Allah gave you all these things. He gave you life. Period. And you pick someone else over Him? Allah told you do X, Y, Z. You listen to your friends? Some of you making your friends equal to Allah? Allah told you do X, Y, Z. And what you do? You do what? You worship someone else besides Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah, He gave you this. Allah said in another ayah, Allahu alladhi khalaqakum thumma razaqakum thumma yumitukum thumma yuhyikum. Look at this ayah. Allah is powerful. Allah said Allah is the one who created you. Then after that He gave you rizq. And then after that what? He gave you death. And then He gave you life. Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who what? He will cause you to die, and then He will give you life on the Day of Judgment. Look what Allah said after that. هَلْ مِن شُرَكَائِكُمْ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ مِنْ ذَلِكُمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. Allah said these other things that you do shirk with Allah with. These other things that you make equal partners with Allah with. These other things that you worship besides Allah or that you obey besides Allah. Have any of them done that for you? Have any of them done that for you? Now I know here the ayah is referring to shirk, someone worshipping someone else besides Allah. Like sometimes people don't fall into a complete shirk, but they're on that path. And a lot of the time it happens with relationships, man. Like a man will be heartbroken by a girl will be heartbroken by a guy, or a person will be humiliating themselves for the opposite gender so much because they just want their attention and their love. Like and you do haram for them, to chase after them, to please them. A man will do haram to please his wife. A man will have his trousers below his ankle because the wife said you look like a joker. A man will He will shave his beard because the wife said I like you better like that. A woman will take a hijab off or start wearing makeup because the husband says when you walk down the street I want you to look good. The youth, filthy, disgusting man he is. But what? She'll obey him because of that. A man will say what? You're not allowed to wear the niqab if she believes niqab is wajib. Or he says you're not allowed to wear the jilbab if she believes jilbab is wajib. And she takes it off for him. Or for her father. Mum says that you can't wear the abaya, you can't wear the jilbab. So she obeys her. Mum says shave your beard, and he obeys his mum. And these are all people that you obey in their right time and their right place, and you give them what their rights are due. Lakin, not when they cause you to disobey Allah. Allah just told you. Allah, He gave you life. ثُمَّ رَزَقَكُمْ, He gave you rizq. ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ, He will make you die. ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ, He will bring you back. Any of these other people that you listen to over Allah, or any of these other gods that you worship besides Allah, whether it be Isa, or some worship Muslim, or some worship a saint, or whatever it might be, have they done any of this for you? No, they haven't. They haven't. And you would be stupid to carry on not making Allah number one. Allah said in another ayah, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ اذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ هَلْ مِنْ خَالِقٍ غَيْرُ اللَّهِ. O mankind, remember the favor that Allah Azza wa Jal has done for you. Remember the favor that Allah has done over you. Is there any one who created you besides Allah? Is there any creator besides Allah? He provides for you from the sky and from the earth. La ilaha illahu. Because there is no creator besides Him, because there is no one that provides other than Him, there is no one that deserves to be worshipped alone except for Him. If you've understood this, and you still refuse to worship Allah alone, and to obey Him alone, and to make Him the primary point and objective of your every single day to day, فَأَنَّا تُؤْفَكُونَ. How are you so stupid, turning away, dim-witted and just deluded, not listening? How can a person be in this situation? A person should feel that their heart is potentially sealed. If Allah Azza wa Jal gives you rizq, you need to do good with that money. Does that make sense? And I want to mention to you a very famous story that Allah mentioned in the Quran, and just take some very quick benefits from it. The story of Qarun. Qarun was a man, Allah Azza wa Jal, He gave him a lot of rizq. Allah said, Inna Qaruna kanu min qawmi Musa. Qarun was a man from the people of Musa, from the people of Moses. فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ. What did he do? He transgressed over them. What did he do? He tyrannized them. He bullied them. He bullied the people. Okay? And وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ. Allah said, we had given to this man treasures. How big was his treasure? The keys of the treasure were so big that if there were men that were there, that were strong, they would struggle to carry even the keys to his treasure. Did you hear that? His treasure was so big, his wealth was so big, that if a band of strong men were given the keys to carry for the treasure, not the treasure, the keys to carry the treasure, they would struggle with it. That's how much rizq Allah gave to this man. So, Allah tells us in Surah Al-Qasas what the people, they said to him. The people tried to advise him. Salaam alaikum, Shaykh. The people tried to advise him, but he didn't listen. What did they say? وَابْتَغِي فِيمَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةِ. They said that with the things that Allah has given you, and the rizq and the provision that Allah has given to you. This is the first advice they give. They give him a few. The first advice, this is really the second advice, but the first I'm mentioning to you. That what? Seek the next life through the rizq that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given you. Seek Al-Jannah and safety in your grave, and safety on the Day of Judgment, and protection from the hellfire, and entrance into paradise through what Allah has given you. And that's a lesson for us now, which is what? Allah gives you something. This rizq should be a way to get Jannah. Allah gave you a child, then that child should be a way for you to have Al-Jannah. Because the Prophet said that all your actions are disconnected when you die, except for three. One of them is what? A waladun salih, a righteous child. Yad'u lah, he makes dua for you. Wallahi, I've seen so many men die, so many women die, and their children be left behind, and their children do not make dua for them. They don't make dua for themselves. How are they going to make dua for their mum, dad that are dead? Because they never cultivated them upon ubudiyya and uluhiyya. They never cultivated them as slaves. Never taught them all of these things. Does that make sense? If Allah gives you money, spend that money in what? Spend that money in what? Spend it in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. Give sadaqah to the yateen. Give sadaqah to the miskeen. Give sadaqah to the faqir. Spend. Some men have purchased Jannah through how much sadaqah that they've given. Why can't you be like one of those? And sadaqah is something that's never lost. So Allah gave you something, brothers and sisters. It's upon you spend. Spend that. And any other blessing, Allah gives you ilm, implement it. Allah blessed you with ilm, He gave you ilm. Any rizq that's given to you, ilm is a form of rizq. Brothers, for Allah to give you this knowledge that you're learning, and for you to not implement it, for you to not worship Allah by it, for you to not take these names of Allah and live by them, for you to not raise your hands and make dua to Allah with these names. Brothers, for you to not do this, wallahi, you're taking a blessing that Allah has given you and you're wasting it. So it will be a proof against you, not for you on the day of judgment. Any blessing Allah gives you, use it as a means to get to Al-Jannah, number one. The second thing, وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيا. They said, do not forget. They said, Qarun, look, Allah has given you all this money. Use it to earn the next life. Don't oppress, don't tyrannize, don't bully. Use it to earn the next life. Stop being arrogant. Number two, Qarun, we're not telling you to forget this dunya. No. Allah said, لا تنسى نصيبك من الدنيا. That's what He said. Do not forget your portion of this world. Nice car, nice house, nice clothes. Oh, you can have those things. Oh, it's nice. You can do that, inshallah ta'ala. As long as you don't overspend. As long as you don't go into israf. Okay? No problem with a man. He's got the money. Have a nice Mercedes S-Class. Because a car, that is, you can find benefit. There's benefit in that car. You know, you can have a smooth ride. It's comfortable. You can, like, it's comfortable. It's safe. It's quality engine. This, that, and the other. But then for you to get a car that's like $500,000, which the speed limit, you can't drive it on any legal road in the UK. Well, I mean, are you wasting money? I'm not passing fatwa, Allah alam. Lakin, the things to think about. Does that make sense? So, don't forget your portion of this life. So, no one's saying, hey, become a hermit. Give all your money away and don't spend on your family. By the way, I have you know that Imam Qurtubi, he mentioned in his Kitab Tazkirah, that what does it mean, don't forget your portion of this life? He said this means don't forget your coffin, the white shroud that your body's going to be wrapped with on the day you're buried. The shroud, your coffin that you're going to be buried in. Some people, they earn money through haram rizq, and imagine out of their money that's haram, riba money or drug money or deceitful money, they take that haram money. Through that haram money, they buy a coffin for them, and they wrap that coffin made from haram, and they bury them with it. That's scary, right? So make sure that when you die, you have enough halal money to deal with your funeral expenses. Because you don't want to be wrapped in your grave until the day of judgment in a shroud made from haram. Does that make sense? That's the second thing they told him. Then after that they said, وَأَحْسِنُوا كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. They said, be good. Be good. Do good. Do good things. The same way Allah has been good to you. If Allah has done good for you, then you should now do good to others. So if Allah gave you some blessings, then now you should impart some of those blessings onto others. Don't be selfish, don't be greedy, don't be stingy, don't just keep it to yourself. Share. They say sharing is caring. And the fourth thing they said is وَلَا تَبَغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. They said, do not seek to do fasad on the earth. Don't seek corruption on the earth. Don't seek mischief on the earth. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Allah does not like people who do mischief. Pay attention. People, when they get money, they do haram with it. He gets money, he starts doing haram. Think about it. Money, he buys drugs. Money, he buys alcohol. Money, he goes partying. Money, he goes raving. Money, he gets women. Like, hey, money, he overspends. Money, he becomes greedy. Money, he becomes arrogant. No, it's fasad. It's corruption. He takes that money, he just really wants more money. So now he starts investing that money in a haram way to make more money. Don't do corruption on the earth. If Allah blessed you, don't do corruption. What was his response to these four advices that were given? قَالَ إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. He said, there is no other reason for why I have been given these things except it's due to my own knowledge. He said, I did this all myself. What are you telling me? That be good is the way Allah done good to you. What are you telling me? Allah? He said, I've done this myself. You're telling me to spend out of my money? For the sake of Allah, it's my money. I worked for this. I done this. This is one of the worst types of rejection of the name of Allah, Al-Razzaq. How did Allah deal with this man? He caused the earth to devour him. The earth swallowed him and he's falling. That's how Allah took him. Some Muslims, they fall into this. They say, I worked so hard, I achieved this in my life, I did this, I did this, I did this. Why are you attributing this to yourself? Don't attribute anything to yourself. Let it always roll on your tongue. Allah gave me this. With Allah's tawfiq I did this. With Allah's permission I did this. With Allah I managed to do this. And that's how it should be. So there's some lessons that you learn from the story of Qarun. Now based on the rizq Allah gives us, if Allah gave you the rizq, can Allah tell you what to do with it? Can Allah command you what to do and what not to do with the rizq? Based on Allah giving you this rizq, Allah told you some things that are in relation to the rizq He gave you. Some commands that He told you, some things that He told you that you have to do. And everyone should be writing this down, by the way. I don't know why we've been doing this class for like a month plus and we still have people that don't come with pen and paper, or you can take notes on your phone at the very least, that this is supposed to be implemented. We're telling you this so you can learn and go back and do something with it. You see where I'm coming from? So these are things that Allah He wants you to do. Everyone should write this down. If you go home and you find that your rizq is still not coming your ways because you're not implementing. These are action points, okay? Action point number 1. Because Allah is Al-Razzaq, He told you what? Spend out of the rizq that Allah gave you. Allah commanded you, spend. Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُم مِّن قَبْلِ أَن يَأْتِيَ يَوْمٌ لَا بَيْعٌ فِيهِ وَلَا خُلَّةٌ وَلَا شَفَاعَةٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, oh you who believe, give, spend out of the rizq Allah has given you. Before a day comes to you. And on this day there will be no friends to save you. There will be no transactions that you'll be able to buy your soul out of with your money. وَلَا شَفَاعَةٍ, no one will come as an intermediary between you and Allah to save you on that day. So Allah said, أَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ, spend, brothers. That's money that Allah gave you. He told you to spend. And sadaqah, when you give it, it doesn't reduce your wealth. The Prophet said, a woman came to Aisha radiallahu anha to ask for food, and she was saving the meat of a lamb for the Prophet ﷺ. Meat was a luxury in the Prophet's time. A fire would not be lit in the Prophet's house to cook. Months would go by and it wouldn't happen. Why? No meat. So one time, the Prophet got some meat. Aisha radiallahu anha, she stored it. And someone came asking. Aisha gave the woman everything. Except the Prophet used to love the shoulder of the animal. That part of the meat, he loved it. He loved it, so she kept it for him. When the Prophet came, the Prophet asked, is there anything to eat? Aisha said, Ya Rasulullah, nothing remains except for the shoulder. The Prophet said, rather Aisha, everything remains except for the shoulder. Why? Because the shoulder, you eat it, and then human processes go through, and then eventually it comes out of you. Lakin, that which you gave, you'll see on the day of judgment, it remains. That sadaqah there, Allah is nourishing, Allah is cultivating it for you. And only a believer will give, knowing with certainty, I'm going to get this back. And even if you weren't going to get it back, Allah said, I gave this to you, and I'm telling you, spend it. Spend it. See, a poor person, give. It's a person needs give. A person needs a debt to pay off, give. Help. Does that make sense? Help. Give. The second thing Allah commanded you is to thank Him because He gave you rizq. Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُلُوا مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِلَّهِ إِن كُنْتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ. Allah said, oh you who have believed, eat from the good things which we have provided for you, and be grateful to Allah if it is indeed Him that you worship. Oh, look at the condition. You really worship Allah? You claim to worship Allah? How are you not grateful to Him for the food that He gave you? How are you not grateful? And how does one show gratitude? Do you just say thank you Allah? No. Gratitude in the Sharia is what? It is actions. Allah said, Ala Dawood, Allah said, I'malu ala Dawood shukra. Allah said, O family of Dawood, do shukr. Allah didn't say shukr. Allah didn't say gratitude. Allah said, do gratitude. So gratitude is actions. And we'll talk about this more when we come to Allah's name, Ash-Shukur, which is one of Allah Azza wa Jalla's names. So we'll talk about shukr more then. Like for now, I'll tell you 3 things that you can do, inshallah ta'ala, that are actions to show your gratitude for the food that Allah gives you and the rizq Allah gives you. Number 1, recognizing the blessing that Allah gave you. I'tiraf fi qalbik, that you acknowledge Allah gave you this inside of your heart. You remember, Allah, yeah, you gave me this. Wallahi, how bad are we? You know, sometimes you want a job, and you remember Allah every time you want the job, you ask. So every day you're asking for the job. The moment you got the job, every day you're asking for the job. You ask for it 3 times a day. The moment you got the job, did you even thank Allah once? Wallahi, the sad reality is that when we ask Allah for things, sometimes the moment we get it, we don't even thank Allah once. And if we do, maybe it's just once you just said it's shukr, and that's it. I can remind yourself, every time you see that blessing, Allah, you gave me this. Allah, you gave me this wife. Allah, you gave me that child. Allah, you gave me this house. Allah, you gave me this food. Remember it. Does that make sense? Number 1. Number 2, praise Allah for the blessing. Praise Allah for the blessing. That's why when you eat, you say, at the end of the food, what do you say? Alhamdulillah alladhi at'amana wa saqana wa ja'alna minal muslimin. That you say, Allah, Alhamdulillah. What praise thanks to you? Alladhi, who am I praising? Who is Allah? Alladhi at'amana. He fed us. Wa saqana. He gave us drink. Wa ja'alna minal muslimin. He made us from the Muslims. Praise Him. Every day, the blessing, I'll say, Alhamdulillah. Allah gave me this. Allah, you gave me this. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah ya Rabb. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah ya Rabb. So it's in your heart and it's on your tongue as well. Okay? Number 3 is what? Is that you use that rizq in a pleasing way. That money, you don't spend it on haram. You spend it on halal. That money, what do? You spend it in good. That wife, you give her her rights. That wife that you have, you stand for her needs. You teach her as a husband should teach her. Wife, she supports her husband. She serves her husband. Children, you raise them upon khair. You do good. You use that rizq, that provision Allah gave you in a good way. That car Allah gave you, don't use it to smoke weed inside of it, to listen to music inside of the car. Don't. That laptop Allah gave you, don't watch it to watch porn. You don't use it to watch pornography. Don't use it to watch these Netflix shows and there's so much filth and all that in there. Use these blessings Allah gave you for khair. Allah gave you a phone and when you talk to girls on there. Use these blessings Allah gave you for good, not evil. Does that make sense? And that was the second command. The third thing is what? Is to stay in a state of piety. Stay in a state of taqwa. Because taqwa is a means for Allah to give you more rizq. Allah said, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. That if you come with taqwa means to fear Allah. To fear Allah. You're so scared of Allah that because you're scared of Him, you don't want Him to punish you. And because you don't want Him to punish you, you start obeying Him and staying away from haram. So taqwa means, from the Arabic word wiqaya, which means shield. So I've taken a shield. And why do you pull out a shield? When you're scared, right, that something's going to harm you. So you pull out the shield to protect you from Allah's displeasure and His anger and His punishment. So what is the shield here that protects you from Allah's punishment? It is taqwa. So what is taqwa? It is to obey Allah in what He commanded you. Every time you obey Allah, you've shielded His punishment. You've shielded His displeasure. And every time you stay away from haram, you've shielded His punishment. You've shielded His displeasure. That is at-taqwa. Allah says, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever comes with this quality of shielding himself from Allah's displeasure and punishment by obeying Him and staying away from haram, Allah says, يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. He'll find a way out from Him. You're stuck. You're stuck, you're trapped. Where's my rizq going to come from? How am I going to pay the bill? I don't see a way out. The door's trapped. Allah said, وَيَرْزُقُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Allah will bring it to you from a place you never imagined. Amr ibn Sharahbil, rahimahullah ta'ala, who's an imam in A'immat al-Salaf, he mentioned that when I pondered over this ayah and I looked at the rizq that came to me in my life, it came more time from places I never imagined than places that I did imagine. It came from places that you did not imagine. What? There, money's going to come from there? Or what? Like some of you are so worried. Where's my wife going to come from? Where? And you're trying so hard. You might even try to find a wife in haram. Haram. Is there rizq? Like when you do it in haram way. And then what happens? When you obey Allah, and you follow Allah, and you do what Allah? Okay. And you do what Allah Azza wa Jalla wants you to do, suddenly, your brethren comes and say, yo, I got a sister. I didn't even know you were looking to get married. Yeah, bro. My sister. Or uncle just come to the masjid, grab by the hand and say, whoa, mashallah. You pray sunnah. Guys don't even pray sunnah nowadays. Would you like to marry my daughter? It just comes out of nowhere. Comes out of nowhere. If I tell you the story of how I got married, well, that's funny. Should I tell you? Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Basically. No, I'm not going to be. another day, another time. Some things you have to cut the sisters out of it. But I feel bad. Don't worry, there's nothing bad, But it's just, it comes out of nowhere. Does that make sense? Okay, the other thing Allah told you to do, so write this down, with the fact that Allah provides and He gives you rizq, is to have iman and do righteous actions. Allah said, فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ وَرِزْقٌ كَرِيمٌ. Allah said, for the people who believe, and then they come with righteous actions after that, for them is forgiveness, وَرِزْقٌ كَرِيمٌ, and a noble provision. Pay attention, what does Allah mean here when He says, فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا? Iman, what is it? Iman, what kind of iman? You need to follow salaf, bro. Kun salafiyan.
Is it iman belief?
Yeah, it is. And belief. The question is, what kind of iman? The iman of the salaf. What's the belief for this?
I think it's ayah in Surah Nisa.
That's one. I like that. But there's even a more clear dalil. فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. When talking about iman, Allah didn't say to the Prophet ﷺ that if they believe the way you believe, Muhammad, they'll be guided. Allah didn't say amanta. The Arabic amanta is you, Muhammad. I'm talking to you. If they believe the way you believe, Muhammad, they'll be guided. Allah says, if they believe the way you, amantum, and those who are with you believe, they'll be guided. So Allah connected our guidance to the iman of the Prophet and those who are with the Prophet. Who was with the Prophet? Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 150, around that area. Allah said, if you believe, if they believe, if their iman is like your iman and those who are with you, then they'll be guided. Who are with the Prophet? The Sahaba. Sahaba, the Salaf al-Salih. We mentioned this so many times. Sahaba are the Salaf al-Salih. Hum awwaluhum. They're the highest of them, the first of them. And then there's the other two generations after. So now, فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, you want to be from those who have iman, and Allah gives you rizqun kareem. He gives you a provision that is noble, maghfirah and forgiveness. You have to have the iman like the Sahaba. Can't be any bid'ah in your iman. Your iman is where? In your heart, on your limbs, on your tongue. Which means your aqeedah has to be what? No bid'ah. Your aqeedah has to be the Imam, aqeedah of Sahaba, not the Khawarij, not the Ash'ara, none of these groups, not Sufi, none of these, it has to be what? Like Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Number two, your ibadat, your actions and your limbs, there can't be no bid'ah. You can't do bid'ah in your actions, you can't celebrate the Prophet's birthday. The Prophet never celebrated his birthday, Sahaba never celebrated the Prophet's birthday. You have to what? Make sure that your iman on your limbs is like the Prophet and his companions. Number three, statements on your tongue. Does that make sense? And then وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, you do righteous actions. لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ, then you have forgiveness. وَرِزْقٌ كَرِيمٌ, and then you have a noble provision. So ask yourself, maybe, why is it that you're broke? Check your manhaj, bro. Be rude, you check your manhaj. Why is Allah going to provide for you? And you're rolling with Ikhwanis. Why is Allah going to provide for you? And you're rolling with Hizb al-Tahrir in these groups, not calling to Tawheed and not understanding foundations of this deen. Why is Allah going to call to you? What? Cause you to have rizq and what? What are you doing? All sorts of madness, protesting, free mixing, men and women. When there's a problem, you don't want to make dua to Allah, but you want to go to a protest and say, free Palestine, standing next to a woman. Allah's going to free Palestine because of your free mixing? For your free mixing, Allah's going to do it? ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. Corruption spread in the land and the sea because of the sins in the first place, and you want to do more sins and think that the corruption will go? Be a person that follows the Salaf al-Salih, the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum ajma'in, and the Tabi'in and the Atba'u Tabi'in. وَلَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ وَرِزْقٌ كَرِيمٌ. You have rizq kareem, and you have forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jalla, inshallah. The other thing that is commanded to you with regards to the rizq is what? Do not make things that Allah made halal, do not make them haram. Do not make things that Allah made halal and make them haram. And don't make things that are haram that Allah made halal. Allah said, قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ زِينَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي أَخْرَجَ لِعِبَادِهِ وَطَيِّبَاتِ مِنَ الرِّزْقِ. Allah said, say, who has forbidden the adornments, the beautifications of Allah which He has produced for His servants, and the good lawful things from the rizq. And there's two extremes here. The Jews, they used to make haram for themselves things that are halal. And the Christians, they made halal for themselves things that Allah made haram. In the Bible, if it's alcohol is haram, pig's haram, they can eat the pig and then they drink the alcohol. And it's in their book. So these are two extremes. And Allah made us ummatan wasata. He made us a balanced nation. And we find those same extremes ahead. You've got the liberal Muslims, they want to make every haram, they want to make it halal. And every time we say this is haram, they say what? Oh, everything's haram. And that's a lie, because the majority of things are halal. Or you have people who do what? They want to make things that are halal, haram on people. So like him? Like a person would say, bro, why are you buying these nice designer clothes? Haram. Look at you, designer clothes. People around the world starving. So yo, take it easy, bro. Allah, it's a blessing from Allah, bro. How can you tell me haram? How can you tell me it's haram? Say, oh, why do you want a nice car? Just get a little Ford Prius. Sorry, Toyota Prius. How can you make haram for me what Allah made halal? How can you do this for me? Allah made halal for me. Allah made this halal. And you told me it's haram. So you signed off on behalf of Allah. You've signed the signature on behalf of Allah. I'lam al-Muwaqqi'in al-Rabb al-Alamin. It's a book Ibn al-Qayyim has. It's a book about fatwa. It's a book about usul fiqh. It's a book, he says, I'lam al-Muwaqqi'in al-Rabb al-Alamin. It's the stamp, the signature that you've done, you've signed it on behalf of Rabb al-Alamin, the Lord of the worlds. When you say this is halal, this is haram. And remember the default position. Allah said, Allahu alladhi khalaqa lakum ma fil ardi jami'a. Allah said, Allah is the one who created everything on the earth for you. Which means that the default position is that everything is halal unless you have an evidence to show it's haram. So someone brings me an animal and it's got 10 eyes and 6 legs, and I see I pull out the shank quickly, slaughter it for the sake of Allah and eat it. No one can come and say, Akhi, the animal's got 10 eyes. I say, Akhi, I don't care, it's got 10 eyes, I'm going to eat it, I'm hungry. And not only that, I'm going to make a burger out of him. And it's you, Akhi, ittaqillah ya Akhi. What's the dalil? I said, I don't need a dalil, bro. You bring a dalil that's haram. I only need a dalil when it's haram. When it's halal, I don't need a dalil. Because the dalil for me that everything's halal, Allah said, Allahu alladhi khalaqa lakum ma fil ardi jami'a. Allah made everything on the earth halal for you. Everything's halal for you. Except a few things. But you know, shaitan, he places the haram thing in front of us and we don't see anything other than it. We don't see, and it's the nature of human beings. Allah Azza wa Jalla told Adam, and look how big Jannah is, bigger than the heavens and the earth. Like Allah told Adam, what's the ayah? وإذ قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس أبى واستكبر وكان من الكافرين وإذ قلنا للآدم أسكن أنت وزوجك في الجنة. Allah said, oh Adam, you and your wife live in Jannah and eat and do whatever you want here. ولا تقربا هذه شجرة فتكون من الظالمين. But there's one tree. There's bare trees in Jannah, you know. Go everywhere you want, but there's one tree, don't go near it. Like in the human being's nature, may Allah have mercy on our father, and he repented, and no one's saying anything bad, or, you know, Adam alayhi salam never had an example of people sinning before him, so that was the first time he sinned. We have examples of sins before us, and we still sin, so we're more blameworthy when we do a sin. Does that make sense? But the thing is, the nature of humans, that the haram, we just look at it, we just can't get eyes from it. Like a guy, he just can't get his eyes off the one girl who he's in a haram relationship with. Who's going to love me? No one else is going to love me. Oh my God. No. Like, why are you moving so sad? Like, have some self-esteem. There's a million girls out there. There's a million girls out there. There's billions of girls out there. You will find a wife. So why are you moving so sad? Does that make sense? But he only looks at the haram. A person only looks at the haram things that they can't drink. It's what? Urine, alcohol, blood. A few drinks that you can't drink. But what about when you can drink milk, water, juice, fizzy drinks? The list goes on. You can mix all these mocktails, halal mocktails with alcohol, mix all these fruits and that. Coconut water, rose water, these all things. Like, the list goes on. The halal is always more. Does that make sense? But we look at the haram. So don't make things that are halal, haram. There's enough halal to go around. Does that make sense? Yeah? Good. Allah Azza wa Jal said, not only that, because Allah is Al-Razzaq, and because He provides for you, Allah said, فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا وَكُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِهِ. Allah, because He's Al-Razzaq, He doesn't want you to be a bum and sit at home. And say, oh Allah, you're Al-Razzaq, you're going to give me. Allah said, I am the one who provides. But go and seek what I provided for you. Allah said, I have given it to you. It's there. What is for you has been allocated and written for you. It's on the earth. فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا وَكُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِهِ. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells you, walk amongst the earth, its slopes, and eat of its provision. So go out there. وَإِلَيْهِ النُّشُورِ. And know that you will come back to Him. So don't be a bum. Don't sit at home. Fruits on a car, and job seekers allowance, and invaluable benefits, and universal credit, and housing benefit. No, I go out and work. Go seek that rizq. If you really believe Allah is Al-Razzaq, then believe it correctly. Doesn't mean that money just going to go through the letterbox. It means the rizq is out there. Allah's placed it on the earth for you. It's there. It's allocated. It's written for you. Since 50,000 years before Allah created the heavens and the earth, it was written for you. Go find it now. Go grind. Go hustle. Go work. Set up a business. Be an entrepreneur. Go get a degree. Go work. Put the work in. Put the hustle in and go get that rizq. And there's virtue in this. From the virtues that is mentioned with regards to going out there and working and hustling and grinding and entrepreneurship and all these kind of things and just having a job, a halal rizq, is that Umar radiallahu anhu mentioned that this person who's going out there seeking halal rizq is greater than the person who's fighting in the path of Allah doing jihad. Do you know how big jihad fi sabilillah is? Do you know how big jihad fi sabilillah is? Like Umar said, the one who goes out there seeking rizq, he's more virtuous than the one who fights in the path of Allah. What's the evidence? Allah said, وَآخَرُونَ يَضْرِبُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَبْتَغُونَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَآخَرُونَ يُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu said, this ayah, Allah mentioned, there's a group of people, they go out there on the earth seeking the rizq from Allah. There's another group that go out there and they fight in the path of Allah. Umar said, لِأَنْ أَمُوتُ بَيْنَ شُعْبَتَيْ رَحْلِي. He said, for me to die between my what? Between my stock. You know when you're selling something, you got goods, and you're buying and selling, you got stocks. He said, for me to die between it. أَضْرِبُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And I'm going and I'm walking on the earth. أَبْتَغِي مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ. And I'm searching for the rizq that Allah has given. For me to die between my stock while I'm walking on the earth, searching for the rizq, grinding, hustling. That is more beloved to me أن أقتل مجاهدا في سبيل الله تعالى. It's more beloved to me than dying on the path of Allah as a mujahid. Why? What's the dalil? He said قدم الذين يضربون في الأرض يبتغون من فضله على المجاهدين في قوله تعالى. Because in the ayah I just mentioned to you, Allah, He placed the people who are going in the earth seeking rizq, He placed them before He mentioned the ones who are fighting the path of Allah. He mentioned them first. And pay attention, we know that not every time in the Quran does order show that this is better than the thing that came after it. Does that make sense? Lakin, this is the understanding of the Sahabi Umar. Umar understood it like this. So now, فَإِنْ آمِنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا أَمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. Believe the way they believe, you will be guided. Does that make sense? عَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي. Upon you is my sunnah, وَسُنَّةِ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ الْمَهْدِيِّينَ. And sunnah of my rightly guided khulafa. The second of them was Umar. This is Umar's tafsir. Does that make sense? So a guy out there, he's saying, I want to be a mujahid, fighting the path of Allah. But you're a bum. You don't even eat food. You don't even provide for your mum and dad. All day just calling duty. Not even paying your mum's electricity, you know. And you're a bum. You're far from mujahid. Allah gave you the ability to be a person who in a station higher than a mujahid by going out there and working, hustling, grinding, but you want it to be a joker. Does that make sense? So brothers, grind, work hard, provide. You want to get married? You got to show Allah, I'm ready for marriage. Marriage costs money, bro. You got to pay rent. Rent, if you're talking what, a studio flat or one bedroom flat, somewhere cheap in London, you're looking at least £1,000 a month. Council tax on top of that you need to pay. Bills you need to cover. Nafaqah you need to give to your wife. Right? Transport money, food money. All this I calculated. Minimum it comes to is about £2,000 a month. On top of that, though, for you to walk away with £2,000 a month, you need to be earning like about 2,300, 400, 500 because the tax man's going to take a cut. So you need to be having at least £2,000 after tax, £2,200, something like that, in your pocket every month before you can think about getting married, my G. You going to be a bum? الرجال قوامون على النساء. Allah made you as a man to stand for the affairs of your women. Your manhood decreases when you can't pay rent. The wife looks at you and then she hears her friend, her husband paid rent. She looks at you thinking, you're not a man. Am I a boy? She left her dad's house to come to you and you can't pay rent. Brothers, the reason I'm telling you these things so you can just mature a little bit. Go out there, grind, hustle and save. You know, sometimes you might think, okay, look, I'm only making like £1,500 a month right now. How can I even think of making like £2,000? No problem. £1,500 a month you're making. Like it, do you spend £1,500? Is that your expenses? No, because right now your mom, dad, paying rent, this, that. Your expenses probably maybe £500, maybe even less to be honest, a lot of you. So then £1,000 should be getting saved every month. If you save the £1,000 every day, or even every month, sorry, for a year, that's 12 G's in your account. Okay, say £500 for 2 years. £500 for 2 years. That's what? 6 G's. No, for 2 years it's 12 G's. Some of you not. I'm looking at you. Some of you are not going to get married in the next 2 years. I wasn't looking at you thinking that. By the way, I was just generally. Some of you you're not going to get married for the next 2 years. Just save. You got a job. Save. Don't go out and think, oh, let me spend this on a jacket and a pouch. Save. You know why? Because that 12 G's that you have there now, you know what you can do. You can do mad things with it. You know. You can go somewhere in Morocco, buy a yard, slap it on Airbnb, and now you're making £150 a day. You can go to Indonesia, buy a property, split it into 2 halves, make it into 2 apartments, put it on Airbnb. There's things you can do. You can take that money, you can invest it somewhere. Your friend might be opening up a chicken shop, and you don't have money you didn't have the full money, so don't put 12 G's in, give me 50% of the business. Now 50% is coming in. You're a silent investor. Money's just rolling in. You know what I'm saying? These opportunities are there. Things you're dumb. You don't save the money. Do you get me? When you're married, no opportunity to save now, my bro. Or it's very hard. You know why? Because 2 G's a month is like it's just coming in, you're just making it. Now when you're young, you don't have expenses. And you know what, I download Monzo? Because you're going to have these pots where you lock them. I'll tell you, if you've got a Monzo pot, lock it for 3 years. Lock it for 3 years. You will not be able to take no money out from there. Every month just put £500, put £1,000 in. Stack. Does that make sense? Sorry, I just went into a bit of a different kind of lesson there. The point is, brothers, these are things Allah told you, go out there and search for your rizq, seek your rizq. And the last point, inshallah, and we're done, is that know that the rizq of Allah is of 2 types. The first is the general rizq that Allah gives to everyone. The kafir, the Muslim, the fajr, and the one who is what? The one who is obedient. Allah gives to all of them. And what kind of rizq is that? Food, drink, shelter, clothes. Okay? Allah says, وَمَا مِن دَابَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا, which we mentioned earlier. There is not a single creature on the earth except Allah has taken it upon Himself to provide rizq for this person. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Now pay attention. If this is a rizq that Allah gives for all creation, Muslim, non-Muslim, obedient Muslim and disobedient Muslim, innovator, Salafi, Sunni, all Allah gives the same rizq to everyone, then know that having rizq in and within itself is not a sign that Allah loves you. Some people believe, oh look at me, I got money, I got kids, I got wife, sign Allah loves me. And then he just thinks, oh Allah loves me, I'm favored, and he carries on. Or some people look at people who have more money and think, does Allah not love me? Look how much Allah gave them and Allah didn't give to me. And I pray and he don't even pray. Does Allah love him more than me? So maybe I should stop praying the way he doesn't pray. And maybe if I be like that, maybe if I start doing that, then maybe Allah will love me too. It's a stupid thinking. Because Allah does not base how virtuous a person is based on how much rizq He gives them. Look at the evidences. Allah said, كُلَّا نُمِدُّ هَؤُلَاءِ وَهَؤُلَاءِ مِنْ عَطَاءِ رَبِّكَ وَمَا كَانَ عَطَاء رَبِّكَ مَحْظُورًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, to each group of people, we extend, we give. To them we give, and to them we give. Allah said, we give to everyone. That's what Allah does. He's Al-Razzaq. He just gives, because that's what He does. That's His characteristic. That's His name. So it's not a sign of whether He favors you more than the other. No, it's that He created you. Now He's going to provide for you. Another ayah, Allah said, وَقَالُوا نَحْنُ أَكْثَرُ أَمْوَالًا وَأَوْلَادًا وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمُعَذِّبِينَ. The people, the kuffar, what do they say? They say, نَحْنُ أَكْثَرُ أَمْوَالًا. They say, we got a lot of wealth. We have the most wealth. وَأَوْلَادًا. And we have the most children. وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمُعَذِّبِينَ. So we're not going to be punished. Look at that. They think they're special because they got money and they got kids. Allah said, قُلْ إِنَّ رَبِّي يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ وَمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَادُكُمْ بِالَّتِي تُقَرِّبُكُمْ عِنْدَنَا زُلْفَى إِلَّا مَنْ آمَنَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَأُولَئِكَ لَهُمْ جَزَاءُ الضَّعْفِ بِمَا عَمِلُوا وَهُمْ فِي الْغُرُفَاتِ آمِنُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jal makes it clear in this ayah that it is not through your rizq that you'll get close to Allah. It's not the fact that you have money you're close to Allah. Rather, it's through your iman and your righteous actions that you will become a person who will become close to Allah Azza wa Jal. In Surah Al-Fajr, Allah said, فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَا بَتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَّمَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمَنِ. Allah said, now as for the human, when his Lord, what does He do? When He tests him with blessings, what does He do? فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمًا. Allah honored me. Allah's testing you with money. Allah He gives you favors, blessings, it's a test. But when He gets the money, when He gets the blessing, He say, فَرَبِّي, what do you say? What do you say? He said, my Lord, what has He done? He's honored me. فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمًا. But when Allah takes that money away from you, وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَا بَتَلَاهُ فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقُهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانًا. When Allah Azza wa Jal, He takes that rizq away from you, when He tightens it for you, He makes it a bit hard, He tests you like that, what does He say? He says, my Lord has humiliated me. No. Allah says, Kalla! This is wrong. It's not true. Allah has not honored you by giving you rizq necessarily. And Allah has not humiliated you by taking it away. That's not what honor and humiliation is based on. It's based on righteous actions and righteous deeds. And that's because this is the general rizq that Allah gives to everyone. But there's another type of rizq, which is the special rizq. The rizq which is khas. It's specific for who? The believers. And this is the rizq which is halal money, by the way. That's specific for the believers. Also the rizq of the heart, which is iman. Also the rizq of ilmun nafi', beneficial knowledge. And also the rizq of al-jannah. Yes, that's right. Jannah is only for the believers. And Jannah is also a form of rizq. فَمَنْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ وَيَعْمَلْ صَالِحًا يُدْخِلْهُ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا. Allah said, for the people who believe in Allah and they do righteous actions, they will enter inside جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ, gardens underneath which rivers flow. Can you imagine how paying that is? I can't even imagine a garden and a river flows underneath it. That's mad. Have you thought about it? A garden and a river flows underneath the garden. That's going to be beautiful. Allah said, that's for who? The people who believe and do righteous actions. خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا. Eternity they will be inside of it. Abadan. Never will it end. When you get some money, you know it's going to end. You get paid before the end of the month, that rizq will not be there. Before the end of the month, that rizq is going to be gone. You would have paid it off. Does that make sense? You would have spent it. Like in this is خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا قَدْ أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ لَهُ رِزْقًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did He say? Allah will have perfected for this person, for the people, Allah perfected rizq for them. What perfect rizq that Allah has given to you. Al-Jannah. There are many ayat just like this. Allah mentioned that Jannah is a rizq for the believers. Jannatin adin allati wa'ada ar-Rahmanu ibadahu bil-ghayb. إنه كان وعده مأتيا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا إلا سلاما ولهم رزقهم فيها بكرة وعشيا تلك الجنة التي نورث من عبادنا من كان تقيا. Allah said there were going to be gardens inside of Al-Jannah, which the most merciful Ar-Rahman has promised His servants. Indeed, His promise has ever been coming And they will not hear inside of Jannah any ill speech. No one's going to talk nonsense to you. They're not going to hear anything mad. It's going to be beautiful. Jannah just, well, I can't go to Jannah, we have to end now. The point is, Allah said that is paradise, which we've given as an inheritance to those of our servants who used to fear Allah. Does that make sense? This is a rizq for the people who fear Allah. So to conclude, bi'idhnillah, if Allah is Al-Razzaq and He's Al-Razzaq and He gives you rizq, if you didn't take anything away from what I've told you today, at least take this last point, which is that if Allah is Al-Razzaq, the one who provides, and He gives you rizq, do not become so preoccupied with the rizq that you forget what Allah wants from you, which is ibadah. Why? Because in the ayah in which Allah told you your job, which is to worship Him alone, He told you His job, which is that He's going to provide for you. So don't forsake your job trying to do Allah's job. Allah said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah said, Allah said, I did not create the humans or the jinn for any reason except that they worship me alone. Okay? And they enslaved themselves to me and they worship me alone. Then right after that, what did Allah say? After He told you your job here for why I created you to worship me alone, Allah said, مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُم مِّن رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَن يُطْعِمُونَ. Allah said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينَ. Allah is the one who is Al-Razzaq. He's the one who gives rizq. ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينَ. The one who has strength. The possessor of strength. Pay attention. Your job is to worship Allah. Allah's job is to give you rizq. Allah told you with regards to rizq, look for it. وَابْتَغِي. Search for it. Look for it. He didn't say you get the rizq. He didn't tell you make the rizq. He said look for your rizq. Allah will give you the rizq. Don't now. And Allah, by the way, in the hadith of the Prophet, He told you that which is with Allah cannot be attained in a way that is haram. What Allah has, you cannot take Allah's rizq in a haram way. It can only come halal. So if you go to get your money through haram, my brothers, or you want to get a woman because a woman is rizq and you try to get her through haram, or whatever blessing it is that Allah provides, you want to get it through haram. What you're now doing is saying, Allah, you didn't do a good job in providing for me. I have to now go outside of your sharia to provide for myself. And in doing that, what do? You don't pray, you don't fast, you don't give zakat. You say, oh, boss won't, I have to work. Allah not providing for me. I have to provide for myself. If I now go and start praying and pray my sunnah prayers at work and pray my fard prayers and whatever have you, the boss is going to sack me. Allah, I'm sorry. I can't pray. I have to earn my rizq. You didn't provide for me. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. And your iman with regards to the name of Allah Al-Razzaq, it decreases. So Allah is Al-Razzaq. You do your job, which is to worship Him alone, and let Him do His job, which is that He will provide for you. In fact, He's already done it. Your rizq is on the earth. فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا. Allah said, go and search for it. It's there. كُلُوا مِن رِزْقِهِ. And eat from the rizq. It's there. But you're being lazy. And you're being disrespectful, and you're being what? Ungrateful. Say, Allah, I don't believe my rizq is there. I'm going to go find it in a haram way, and I'm not going to worship you because I have to go out there and make my rizq. Does that make sense? And that's dangerous. Rather, go out there, search for it, seek it. It's there. That's what's told you. Search for the rizq. And worship Allah alone. Allah will provide for you. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Yo,
what's going on, bro?
yeah, I got the thing.
What? How much is in there?
20 mil.
You being serious?
Yeah, hold that. It's yours now.
You guys are probably wondering how this dusty looking camera is worth 20 mil. Let me break it down for you. About 6 years ago, some brothers and sisters gave us about £600 in order for us to purchase this camera to make da'wah videos. 6 years later, alhamdulillah, we made well over 1,000 videos and we reached over 20 million plus views on YouTube alone without taking into account all the other social media platforms that we're on. So those people at the time when they gave that money, I don't think they had any idea that that £600 that they gave was gonna go towards a camera that would reach 20 million people who watch videos and they changed their lives after having watched them, who watched these videos and started praying, who watched these videos and accepted Islam. Can you imagine if they were sincere, the kind of reward that they're going to get on the day of judgment, inshallah ta'ala? But now here's the issue. This camera is 6 years old. I mean, there's cracks in it, it's breaking, it's well past its sell by date. We're trying to take things up to the next level. In order to do that, we need a new camera. In fact, we need more than one. We need more equipment. We need to actually hire a bigger media team. But all of this stuff, it comes with expenses, it comes with costs. And over the next 6 years, inshallah ta'ala, we're looking to reach well over 20 million people. Now look, I'm gonna be direct with you. I'm about to ask you for some money to put towards the da'wah for the sake of Allah. But before I do that, I wanna tell you some figures, some statistics to show you the kind of reward that you might be looking at, inshallah, if you come with sincerity and the donation. Just take a look at the kind of numbers we have over the last 90 days. Over the last 90 days, we received over 1.4 million views on our YouTube channel alone. That's 466,000 views every 30 days. That's 15,555 views per day. That's right. You could be in your sleep, sleeping 6, 7, 8 hours a day, however much you sleep, and you're just earning a reward, inshallah ta'ala. Why? Because you gave a bit of money that went towards a very big project. Now, with that 15,000 odd views a day, if you average that out across 6 years, which is the lifespan of this camera, do you know how much reward that is, inshallah? That's 34,065,450 views. I don't know about you, but that kind of reward, I need that in my life. This is not the kind of opportunity that we should be passing up, especially if you've got sins. The Prophet ﷺ said that giving charity wipes away sins the way that water, it extinguishes fire. So look, say no more, inshallah ta'ala. I don't feel like I should have to convince you towards giving to a project like this anymore. If you want that kind of reward, you want the da'wah to spread, you want la ilaha illallah to spread across the internet, inshallah ta'ala, then you want to give at the link below to this project. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Remember, 20 mil, yeah? And that's on YouTube alone.